Derivatives, excuse me, derivatives trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Hey guys. Alright, so it looks like I already am off to a bad start because I didn't get my water. And we're a little late, but that's okay. So it looks like we haven't had a big move up, which I think was justified. And we are back to where we were. Maybe we test lower from here. Could certainly happen. Let's look what news we've got today. I believe we do have some numbers. Consumer confidence and, oh yes, of course, State of the Union tonight. HPI year over year at 7 o'clock. All right, well, let's go and grab our links. There we go. Up into Discord here. Should be volatile. Yeah. So was this move overnight triggered by some of the news headlines that we had last night about the memo and so forth? Possible. VIX is moving higher. Cool. I want to look at that. Fran put in some interesting links in our bond channel. Let's look at okay, they are doing the infrastructure plan. President Trump's going to talk about it tonight. Okay, so that could definitely, excuse me, that could definitely do something, although I would think that would make us move down. Fed will be forced to raise rates more rapidly than expected because of the accelerating economy, survey says. Thank you for finally acknowledging what we've been saying since like October. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get water. There we go. See, you need to get water so that you don't have to hear those clicky sounds from a dry mouth. All right. Oh, actually, I already had that open. Okay, so let's look at the cryptocurrency markets because it looks like we had a decent move down overnight. Yep, yes we did, and we are right back at the support line. You can only touch that support line so many times, guys. I don't know. That was making me a little nervous. I think, if I come back here, I think my Bitcoin Cash actually... Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I think we bought the Bitcoin Cash somewhere around here. So I was looking at Delta, and the Delta was saying that my Bitcoin Cash was higher. But my it's hard to read it because they have a price for garlic coin now, and the price of garlic coin has been really volatile. Like it's changed, but like it started out at $2, went up to $3, and now it's like less than $1. And the difficulty has gone up significantly. I only got 2 coins overnight, and I was getting like 10. So I got another video card coming, but it can't come soon enough, unfortunately. Anyways, so we are at support. Next question is, though, was this driven by any kind of news? And so I don't see any significant stuff, at least not up at the top and hot, other than that CNBC story that was yesterday. Yep, I do think we are going to see new investors come in, but it's going to be a day or two. So BitHumb, which I think is in Korea, isn't it? They confirmed I wanted to make an account there. I obviously haven't used it, but they confirmed my account yesterday after, you know, having me put it in like 2 months ago. So I think that the new investors are coming this week, but it's going to take a day or two because, you know, they have to transfer from your bank, and the traditional banks are slow. Yeah, I don't see anything. John McAfee. Don't listen to John McAfee. He's a freaking idiot. It's not. Apparently he's been like straight up shilling coins now, which is not cool. Can you really send money from the USA to BitHumb? Well, I don't remember why I even signed up for that exchange. I think it was because you could trade dollars there. So I'm not sure if you can trade dollars there, but you can certainly transfer your cryptocurrencies there, right? So whatever. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what has been causing these moves. The Bitcoin one looks like it may just be technically driven. The move overnight in bonds looks like it was driven on some news, but I just don't see... Yeah, I just don't see what's causing it. So we'll see. I'm gonna take a few bites here. Of course. Today, this Wednesday, is the FOMC meeting. Well, that would be important. Maybe people are making some moves here. Let's see here. Can't be futures either, right? Yeah, well, the futures look pretty flat from yesterday, which is kind of interesting. And I haven't signed up for Robinhood. Well, I have a Coinbase account. That was how I was planning on pulling my money out. We'll see. You know, it's only about $500 now that I think I've made. So I'm gonna have to be a lot more than that for me to want to pull it out. Or at least we want this move up, right? Want this move up, want my indicator to say it's oversold, and then I'll cash some money out. And if I do cash it out, I'll probably just move it over into my bond trading account, so. Well, how does Bitcoin look on a shorter time scale? Looks like we could be recovering here. Okay, well, we'll have to let it play out. They've made their down move. Maybe they come back to the VWAP. Same here with Treasuries. Treasuries, we kind of got to let these play out a bit. It does look like they want to go higher. Hi, good morning, Social Observer. New name. Tell us, how did you find the channel? Still early. Usually have a we're about where we usually are. For some reason, most people don't pop in until 7 o'clock. I think it's because a lot of the watchers are the cryptocurrency people, but. Okay, well, the futures just printed their one standard deviation from the VWAP. Where is, need to pull up this Bitfinex longs and shorts. What is the name of the website? It'll come to me. Rackley is gonna help me here, I'm sure. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. I was searching about Bitcoin futures and your channel showed up. Oh, well, awesome. Yeah, so we streamed the first day of the CME futures, and there was a lot of questions that night. And so there's a lot of really good information in that video. And there's also the, I also made 2 short videos, just kind of, yeah, data mesh is exactly what I'm looking for. I also have 2 short videos just kind of explaining how I thought that the futures would go, which were pretty close to how things ended up going. All right, let's see. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. So we are seeing some longs initiate here. We are also seeing some shorts step up. I like to make this like 48 hours. I think that's a little bit better. Excuse me, a little bit better context. Okay, so last night there was a big drop off in longs for some reason. Yeah, most of my videos are 5 hours, I think, because I literally record every trading session. Although, you know, the focus on most of those recordings is bonds. We trade bonds and we talk about Bitcoin. It's good to know that we're showing up in the search results, though. Yeah, Rackley pointing out again that that's the way he found the channel was the first day. He says ETFs, I assume he means the futures launched for Bitcoin. That was a crazy day because we had like several thousand people watching. I was like just completely blown away because I thought, okay, you know, I had never streamed live before. Like I'll post the videos and I usually get around 100 videos just from people stopping by looking at from like Futures.io and stuff, which by the way, I need to go and update my thread there. Anyways, so I thought, you know, oh, we'll get some 100 views and then maybe after the fact I'll get, you know, a couple hundred more because people will come across it later. But then like it went viral or something and like thousands of people showed up and lots of questions. And the other big thing was that a lot of people signed up for the Patreon that day to get the Bitcoin indicator, which was really cool and has been really good for us. Hopefully we can, after a month or 2 of that, we can pay for some space so that I can give you guys a better chart. I am new to this world, so I hope to learn. I am crypto invested, but now I am all over technical analysis and charts. Okay, and now you're looking at the futures. Well, so here's, I'm gonna destroy your world then, social observer. Technical analysis is extremely useful and is a very critical skill to have as a trader, but it has absolutely zero predictive ability. It helps you understand what the setup is. It helps you understand like what the possible trades are, but it is not very good at telling you what's going to happen next. What is good at telling you what's going to happen next is volume. So that's why we like this data mesh thing, Wait, let me pull it back up. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us that we went down overnight because shorts pulled primarily, or sorry, not shorts, longs pulled primarily because some longs got out for some reason. Kind of interesting, right? That tells us something. Because now some shorts are adding on. We do have a possibility that now that we're seeing some longs add back on, maybe some of these shorts get kicked out. We did reach some support levels, but there is also a possibility that because there's no more buyers here, that we take the leg lower. And so we watch the volume. And another thing here is in the futures, this cumulative delta, this is like every time somebody buys, we move up, and every time somebody sells, this goes down by 1. And you can see that the cumulative delta is, generally speaking, pretty even. We're only like 10 contracts more short, 20, 30, 25 or so more than we were yesterday, which isn't very significant. And we are here, this is the volume weighted average price, and we're 1 standard deviation. So right now, volume is telling us that we've had a standard move down, and there's a pretty good probability that we're going to come back up to this, 1100, well, probably more like 11.8, 10.8 level. Yeah. Here in Treasuries, which is even more responsive to volume, we can see that there was a big buy here in the 5-year, but it hasn't really gone anywhere yet. There's maybe a little bit of a buy here, this 4,000 materializing in the 10-year. So if they're able to push through and they're able to get up to the volume weighted average price 25, we might take a long here in the 10-year. That's how we do it. So it's all about volume analysis. Are people going long or short? Are and trying to base off of where the action is, and so if you want to go long, there's 2 ways of doing it, right? You can place a limit order, which makes you one of these guys right here, this 1,000 looking to buy at 23, or you can use a market order and just buy at 23.5. And so we want to look at, okay, are the market orders or the limit orders winning overall? Are the market orders going long, or are they going short? This is how we determine what's going to happen. BTC just broke a symmetrical triangle to the downside with volume. I don't like what is happening in Bitcoin today. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily surprised. Yeah. You can see there's my, I don't know why my line got taken away. Where did my line go? There's your technical analysis. Question though are there enough shorts and enough longs that are going to puke out here that to actually take us to a new low? I don't think there is. I think all of the weak hands have already gotten out, and everybody that's left are just the stubborn people. Probable that it's going to be a continuation. I don't think that the volume corroborates that yet, but it certainly could soon. So you might be right. Screwed it up. I'm gonna have to go back and reset it. Last 6 hours. Okay, now that's interesting here. That the longs, there was a big long got out, but then even more came in to replace him. But these shorts are not letting up, so the shorts are putting on the gas pedal. I guess the reason why I would say I'm a little skeptical that it's going to like continue. We could go down this slope here, but I don't think that we have enough fuel to make a second deviation move, if that makes sense. Well, Treasuries still kind of has that up volume, but it's not really moving. I'm gonna have another range bound day today. That would suck. Let's see if there's any question, if there's anybody. Just don't see any news to be pushing cryptocurrencies down.
Trade the Traders said Seth, for Bitcoin you only need to look at gold chart winking face.
He really likes the correlation with gold and Bitcoin. So if we, now he uses a weird ETF or something to look at gold. But let's just see here. GC, yes. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. He's got a good point.
Trade the Traders said that's the truth.
Let me just make the chart look a little better here. There's your gold. Down overnight. We could maybe add in here. Let's see if I can do a data series. Let's add GC onto this chart. And then, oh wait, why didn't you do it? Yeah. For that, I don't think it should be 10 volume. It should just be like,
Trade the Traders said look at the chart.
Why? But you're saying they're inversely correlated, right? I'm just gonna let me figure out how to get my freaking chart here to look a little bit better. Maybe 60-minute bars. Yeah, I like that a bit better. Oh, and how many days were we loading? We'll load 15 days. Okay. So, oh, and we should use box ones, right? Yes. Bada boom. Down bars I want to be orange, and up bars
Fran
I like
said
to be
nasty
blue.
range.
This is really good for colorblind people. They can see those better. Oh yeah, and we also get rid of the candle, or get rid of the outlines.
Fran said ES looks like it might break down.
Well, we are starting to move up. Okay. So you can see here, gold moved up, Bitcoin moved down. Very interesting. Well, the thing that I think makes it even more interesting is that it happened in gold first. But I don't know if that chart in gold is that bullish, yeah? We'll see. European bonds back to where they were. 6J heading up, so we might head up it because of currency correlations. And the E-mini looks awfully weak. Watch it turn around immediately and defy our expectations.
Trade the traders said look at daily chart.
And the gold. Yeah, so I was just saying we gotta probably move out a bit. I don't watch gold as much as I should. I should certainly look at it more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the longer term chart is definitely bullish. But past few days is not. And that kind of swingy up action is not necessarily good either. But I think his theory that I think makes a lot of sense is that a lot of the people that invest in Bitcoin are doing it because they don't like inflation. They don't like their dollars getting worth less, and so they're buying cryptocurrencies. And if cryptocurrencies aren't going up anymore, then they're going to move over into gold. And so you get gold moving up and Bitcoin moving down. Well, we did get a tick up. Bum, bum, bum. Social observer, as I have said, I am new to technical analysis and try to learn, but from a chart I have seen of Bitcoin USD, I think we're going to see Bitcoin 6,000 within 10 days time. Well, so there is still a reasonable probability of taking another leg down, but I don't think they can get to 6. I don't think there's enough fuel on the fire to take us down there, because once you get below 8,000 basically is where we're at right now. I think I need to generate this. I haven't shown you my chart. You don't even know what we're talking about. So if you go to Patreon, patreon.com/speculatorseth, and you get this chart that I make. Hold on, it's still going. What's it say? 58. Today is the 30th. Okay. Here's my chart. So here, this is based on transaction volume. And when we get to this 50 level, it's a buy, and when we get to this 100 and above, it's a sell. And the theory is that the reason Bitcoin has value is because...
The traders said check out when gold started the rally and when Bitcoin started dropping.
Yeah, well, yeah, the traders. It looks like gold went first, right? Is that what you're saying? Anyways, when you get down to this, the whole theory here is that the reason Bitcoin has value is because it allows you to make transactions. And when we get down to this 50 level, that's basically the point at which the people using the ecosystem, the people that actually buy Bitcoin, essentially, and actually use it, is enough on its own to sustain price. And you would only be able to move it past that 50 through, some sort of manipulative trade. And any such move that would go past there would be extremely temporary in nature. So for us to get down to the 50, and I think the lowest we've ever seen was like 40, that would put us at about 8,000. So I would have to say, based off of that 6,000 is a little bit too much. Why not just make gold tether? Dude, that's a great idea, but how would you do that? Oh, well, we would just say we have a gold reserve, and when you give us money, we use it to buy gold and hold it. We should do it. We should do that, right? I don't trust these tether guys. I mean, maybe they're good, but we should do it. Can make our own gold tether. Although I'm a little skeptical that that doesn't already exist in some form. For that matter, there's all sorts of great tethers you could probably make. Although the problem with the gold tether is that you would have to store the gold. That would cost money. And how are you making money off of your gold reserves, Because with dollars, it's really easy to just, collect interest on it. But how do you do that with gold? A derivative of gold, yeah. Yeah, so it would probably have to be, a BTC. Okay, so it's a tether that is directly tied to the price of Bitcoin, but you can transfer it to other people a lot faster than Bitcoin. Yeah, that's. You should go to the RPTC subreddit and propose that. I think they would love that one. Oh, okay, so I was just coming back into the bonds room, and Trade the Traders is saying that so if I'm reading what you're trying to say correctly, 19. Well, what happened on the 19th? I'm not really seeing anything too significant on the 19th. It pivoted on the 12th. So it actually pivoted before Bitcoin did, right? Because Bitcoin's high was like the 16th, right? So I guess we had this, then we had some sort of a reversal, and then at that point, Bitcoin realized that there was a reversal and they started trading the other way. But I think you are saying that gold is the leader, right? I mean, it'd have to be. It's a much bigger instrument.
Trade, the traders said.
I don't know. On this one, I mean, here's the thing: is this one right here, where you're saying here's a peak and here's a peak. There's not enough evidence in the chart alone to say if they're actually correlated or not, or if it's just a coincidence. This one, though, this one I think is fairly clear that they happened at the same time. But we would have to do like a longer term correlation study, you know, to say how much correlation actually is there between gold and Bitcoin, and like what is the percentage and stuff. Yeah, watch out, Tether already has problems with their auditor. So I thought that they were going to make like some sort of a statement yesterday or something, and I never heard anything. So what is the deal there? Yeah, they fixed that by firing them. I don't know what's going on with Tether, but it certainly has me a little concerned. We'll just say that. Okay, well, we had that little dip, and now we're right back to 24.5. And the 5-year still looks like long. I had my money in Tether and got it out last night, too scared to take the risk. So when you got it out, where did you put it? Did you put it in Bitcoin and then Bitcoin went down? That's not. Or were you actually able to put it into fiat? In the exchange. Yeah, okay. So then I assume that means fiat in the exchange. So yeah, next time, because I had a really good profit in Sia coin. I should have just taken it all off. But I only took a little bit of it off, and I used that to invest in some other cryptocurrencies. But at the time that I did that, I knew that the market was going to be going down. And I should have just moved it into fiat at Coinbase, but woulda, coulda, should have. Okay, well, now that we've gone through the VWAP and the cumulative delta is still looking good, it took a long there. I do think it's probably going to sit here for a little bit, so we might not get an immediate edge, unfortunately.
Trade. The traders said gold was sold off at this time. Bitcoin has risen. The gold profits were invested in Bitcoin. And now the other way around. Bitcoin was only a means to an end.
Well, I think it's a decent theory. I mean, the thing is that all it would take is one whale doing that for you to be able to make an edge off of it, right? But, you know, that kind of begs the question of how effective do you actually know it's going to be in the future? And we don't, since we can't actually prove, I mean, we could do a correlational study, and if we see that that's been happening through the whole life of Bitcoin and that it's a reliable edge, then that would be a different thing. But right now, we've only
great
shown
example of spurious correlation.
Yeah, right now we've only shown that there is that in this one instance there was this a correlation that may or may not hold in the future. And the thing is that if it was just like a means to an end, like you're saying, then there's a really good chance that that correlation won't follow in the future. Yeah, on hedge funds, they don't need to settle gold equals or equal to or greater than fiat equal to or greater than Bitcoin on the same day. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting correlation, but we need to do more research. I don't know how to do. I need to find something in NinjaTrader to do a correlation. Does it actually? Does it have a? Maybe there's a correlation indicator. Nope, I don't see one. Sure, I could find one out there. That's what we need to do. Is we need to put on a correlation indicator and see how frequently Bitcoin and gold are actually correlated on a daily chart. Oh, from Arrow. Gold to fiat to Bitcoin on the same day. Yeah, you're saying you could do it over a couple of days for sure. Because you're not going to trade directly from Bitcoin to gold. I don't think that there's anywhere you can do that. But that's why we need the tether, right? That's why we need a gold tether. It's a brilliant idea. If you could make it, if you could figure out the economics of it, how would we, the central authority managing the tether, how would we make money?
Trade
because you have to store the gold.
Volto.com.
Bitcoin Gold Exchange. There you go. Okay. How much volume goes through there though? Let's look. Transparency, Voltaro, sign up, login, blah, 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 blah.
Below said also, as we know with bonds, correlated markets are helpful, but no holy grail.
Yeah, for
Delta
sure.
said trade the traders. What's leading?
Correlated markets are definitely helpful, but not a holy grail. Ultimately, volume is the most predictive for short-term movements. Without question. Without question. Okay, I have a Bitcoin theory for you guys. What do you think about this one? Anonymous cryptocurrency trading has been stopped in South Korea. So now, if you want to trade on the Korean exchanges, you have to open a real name account. So maybe there was somebody out there that was pretty big and trading anonymously in Korea, didn't want to be identified and cashed out. Huh? What do you think about that idea? Or theory. It's not an idea, a theory. What do you think about that theory? old news. Well, yeah, it is old news, but it did just happen yesterday. So it could possibly explain the move down overnight. Do you need real gold backing to issue options or to issue tether? I don't know. Not necessarily. But you would need some way to gain the exposure. So we could say this is actually tethered to a gold ETF. I think though if you do that you start running into regulatory problems though. Because you're basically creating a derivative at that point. Like I think there's a certain line at which it's no longer a cryptocurrency and it's an actual derivative, and it would put you under US derivative regulations. There are now more than 1 million people waiting to register on BitHump to get registered. Yeah, my like I said, my account got confirmed yesterday at BitHump. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's always good to have some stuff out there on different exchanges in case your exchange of choice goes down and you want to sell some. Of course, last big move up in Bitcoin, all of the exchanges were down. So, well, not all of them, but multiple exchanges. I remember that. And Coinbase usually.
Quantatron said, Seth, do you have Rhythmic or CQG for your futures feed?
My feed is Rhythmic right now. I could go back to my futures broker and request Rhythmic, but at the time, it was much easier to get Sim set up and NinjaTrader and Jigsaw running at the same time through Rhythmic, and so that's why I chose Rhythmic. Even though there's some definite advantages to CQG. CQG definitely has a better simulator for starters. FOTA is going to issue NASDAQ NYSE derivatives. Who is FOTA then, though? That is some Bitcoin, some cryptocurrency organization? I really don't like what I see in the cumulative delta for ZP right now. Oh, that's the... Do you still believe in the fairy tale of Bitcoin? It was brought to life by the financial world with the support of the government. Maybe. That's a good theory. But again, what hard proof do you have? That's my thing. If I've learned anything from trading, it is that I myself and humans in general are extremely bad at separating, finding, acting on reality. We'll hear something that sounds kind of good to us, it sounds convincing, and we'll latch onto that, and that's the explanation for everything, when there could be 1,000 different explanations for why it did what it did. Oh, sorry. I told you on Discord not too long ago, it's a crypto stock exchange. The edge here is that you can buy fractions of a stock like Apple. So how do they do that and not run afoul of regulations? Maybe they're just not big enough to have caught anybody's attention yet. Let's see what happens here in bonds. The 30-year looks like it wants to go back down. There's some huge absorption. Look at all of these bubbles here. It's extremely unusual for us to see that much.
Below said financial markets will always be involved with good pump/dump opportunities. Below said if the government is supporting BTC, then it's prob not going anywhere anytime soon. Especially with the CME product release. Brand said everything almost standing still.
Yeah. Isn't it curious that whenever we get something significant, it's like, okay, we just absorbed 1,000 in the bond. Wouldn't there be a bunch of people out there going, whoa, okay, there's a trade there. Maybe I can push these guys out or something, but they don't do that. It's actually a signal like, oh, I need to be cautious here. Maybe I shouldn't do anything. And it just goes dead. And I mean, it makes sense, but it's the most frustrating thing in trading, I think. Is you get the thing and then nothing happens. Well, it does look like ZN is going to tick up. So there's that. I doubt that they're going to put much size on the bid at 25.5 though when they do. Or if they do. I shouldn't say when. That'll jinx it. I don't know where they are operating. If they run it from Russia, you can't really stop it, but I think they are in the US and will be legit. That would be cool. I really don't understand why Google wants such a high stock price. I think it's stupid. They should do a split. Whatever. Never understood that. Some higher up guy in Google must just really like seeing the price high and is anti-stock split. Okay. All right, so they put up a decent amount. Now ZB has not ticked up yet. Let's reset this DOM so that we can keep track of which one's gone up and which ones haven't a little bit better.
Trade the traders said ZN 121.220 is the business zone.
Now, so let's talk about the E-mini. What do you think the E-mini is going to do on the open? Pretty awful price action. Not seeing much help in the cumulative delta. It's just kind of flat there. Think we could open up and move lower in the E-mini. Or is it just going to wait for the open and that's going to be the reversal right there and we're just going to shoot straight up? That would be more characteristic of the E-mini in the past, year. I watched when Google started trading opened 100 drop sum, and I was still naive thinking the price of the stock matters, so didn't buy as in too expensive. Oh, right. Yeah. And Adele says Ethereum is doing very well right now. Well, I noticed when I looked at my delta that my Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash were doing better, relatively speaking, than my other cryptocurrencies. So I'm not quite sure what that means. There's some signs that pretty good chance that Bitcoin's going to come back to the VWAP. That's happened so consistently now. I think that there's a pretty decent edge in that. We should try and quantify it, but I'm pretty confident in saying that we're going to get back to the VWAP at some point today. The question is just when it's going to do it and what it's going to do after it touches the VWAP. Okay, so these sellers in the 30-year have won for now. How much were these? 700, 800 bought, 1,000 sold, 1,000 sold. And they put a 2,000 at the VWAP again. I still think we have an okay position. We're just going to have to see this wind out. It was at 27. So we'll mark that. Adele, it's the VWAP, volume weighted average price, and yesterday I recorded a video explaining what the VWAP is, how it's calculated, and how I use it. So I would highly recommend that you go and watch that video, like right now, because VWAP is by far my favorite indicator. If I could only choose one thing, it would definitely be the DOM, but the second thing would be the VWAP. The very wavy algorithm pattern. No, it's the volume weighted average price. Yeah, go and watch that video. I think once you see the video, you'll understand why I feel it's so important and why I'm always talking about if we're going to come back to the VWAP or not. Yeah. Is it just do I have like an accent? Is there just something about the way that I say it? Because that's the other thing I notice is that people ask me what I'm actually saying. VWAP. VWAP? Maybe I need to see VWAP. Maybe that would make it more clear what it is. Okay, I don't like that 4 there. Ouch. Okay, well, I think it may be time to go short. The bond certainly thinks it's time to go short. This order here at 28 is showing up in the 5-year. I'm gonna, let's see how it responds there. Yeah, sure. Now, I'm going to try and emphasize the A in the future, though. The VWAP. That just sounds weird to me.
Trade the traders said. Heath said.
Okay, well, there's what we were looking to see to go short. I can see here Trade the Traders looks like he is going long. I don't know, it's hard for me to understand his DOM.
Trade the traders said ZN like the business zone grinning face with smiling eyes.
I do think that that was our signal to
Below
go
said
short.
why not short bonds instead TTTP.
Yeah. I think that was our signal to go short. I'm just not so sure now that we have a good entry, especially since I see a potential pivot in ZB. So, hands off the mouse and take a bite.
Trade the traders said yes long plus 16.
Yeah, good job. So the E-mini did make a good little run there off at the beginning, but it's got a maybe halfway there of getting to the pivot before we could say that we're in the clear. Okay, well, the bond just took another dive there. Let me actually be able to get 24. I'm gonna wait again.
Trade the traders said yes, nice open drive. Below said ZB, nice open dive.
That's some real pressure. It's unfortunate that I missed the kind of the entry. If I should have just trusted my click at 23.5. Should have just let it do its thing. I don't know. Okay, they are reloading here. We're gonna take this one. I think this could make a new low.
ETH said long 26 UB.
See, we've got a number of people in Twitch, so I'm guessing, because most of our viewers watch on YouTube, so I'm guessing that most of you guys just found us through the Twitch directory. So welcome. You definitely, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and I will answer them. Okay, we're looking a little bit better here. Yeah, there we go.
ETH said ouch. ETH said no fade LOL.
Yeah, Keith, did you get any favorable ticks on that one?
ETH said yeah. I got a tick in my favor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, only shorts right now. Please, guys. Let's not fade this. Especially not in UB.
ETH said man, this is a strong break.
Yeah, it is. Well, it was strong absorption back up there towards the VWAP and ZB. Yeah?
Fran said at least it finally broke.
You know, the funny thing is that we've seen some big icebergs recently, and so it was kind of like, maybe it's not such a big deal. But man, once
Fran
it
said that
once
was a
it
very
broke,
long rotation of 3 ticks.
yeah, and look, they're plowing through 7Ks now. And that they didn't touch 20.5, but I bet this one probably ends up being 10. That is very strong trending action. Oh, I guess they're not going to push it further.
Below said pretty wild.
Yeah, we're getting the pullback on us now. So it looks like the big icebergs are still being fairly significant, and I don't want to risk it. Let it come back up, and we'll take the bounce. In fact, I'm gonna put my order up there right now. If it comes back to that VWAP, I think there's a really good chance it's just gonna bounce right off of it. A new low for Bitcoin. The futures isn't showing me that. No, it's still off of its bottom from the candle. It's still about where it was. I still think that Bitcoin is going to move back to the VWAP. Oh, was that too loud? I'm sorry. Was that what happened? I don't know. I'm gonna feel awfully foolish if it plows through this 21, aren't I? Nope. And that bid firmed up awfully quick.
Below said L at 20 UB.
That was a strong enough tick that you could probably go long there, although I will refrain because I don't want to fade. Quantron is seeing another sell too, but I don't see that on my chart. That was on Binance. So is it just not hit Bitfinex yet? What about GDAX? Now let's move this to a 5-minute chart. And GDAX, it looks like it's recovering. No, I don't see, and that's not what my chart looks like. We're just gonna have to see. No, Bitcoin tends to only dive once. But we'll see. Not too concerned. I mean, if it goes below 10,000 and we get like 8 to 9, great. I'll just put in more. Now, if it gets below that 8 and my indicator starts reading like 30s and 20s, then I might think something's up. Look at all of those big numbers in the bond. There's something going on that we don't understand. Why is the bond... Is that steepening? Yeah, why are we steepening? Is this because of infrastructure? Should also look here in John's notes. He said we would be looking to test the overnight lows in the 147.14 area, which we went well below. Okay, so he doesn't have many more levels, not in his main thing, that are helpful to us. Anyways, wheat deck. Let's add another person for
Heath said ha.
okay. S&P did fade and go lower. Now that's another interesting thing. Okay, so when we broke and went lower, the E-mini was going up. Now that we're coming back, that is the E-mini going down. But overall, on the day, we are more down. So there is a little bit of a correlation, but I don't think that that can be the whole story. Oh, there was home prices. Did this happen at the home prices? Composite year over year was 6.4 versus 6.3. I suppose it could have been related to that.
Fran said thanks.
I think that they might be doing with home prices.
Below said wouldn't a sell wall be better with the inverse stock/bond relationship?
Bond expert predicts a wall of buying in treasuries will protect the stock market. What? Yeah, I don't... Okay. I would love to hear why he thinks that's going to happen.
Trade the traders said, grinning face with smiling eyes.
Why are they going to buy it?
Fran said the inverse doesn't hold all the time. I think statistically it's about 70%.
Yeah.
Trade the traders said. Heath said here is the link t.co.
Okay.
Fran said yes, it's unreliable as an indicator for intraday trading IMO.
Well, I wouldn't say it's unreliable. It's just you need more than just this went down. You also have to know what is the key news story that's driving us right now to determine what the correlation should be for that day.
Below said gotcha. They move in unison during large economic moves. Makes sense, I guess.
Well, and it's not even necessarily large economic moves. It's kind of like, so let me see what would be an example. So if the economy is doing really well, then chances are the E-mini is going to go up and bonds are going to go down because the bonds are expecting interest rate raises. Okay, but for instance, when we were doing quantitative easing, they moved in tandem. Stocks went up and bonds went up because the expectation was they're going to keep rates low. So that means buy bonds, but the low rates is going to be good for stocks. And so stocks go up too, right? So, it's all very situational. But there is always a correlation. It's just a question of what is the correlation
Fran said,
that
looks
day.
like the ES has a fairly large gap to fill.
And the problem with it,
traders said ES plus 10.
the problem with it is that correlation can change just like that,
Heath said this is feeling like one of those V reversals.
Yeah, well, we got back to the 16th, so we've retraced half of it. So I wouldn't say it's safe to take longs yet. I'm also seeing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, they broke out of it, so it doesn't matter.
Fran said got one long plus 4, but looks like it's stalling again.
So we're back to, I did say, hey, we probably could get some VWAP bounce, right? But they're not quite lining up yet. So I don't know if it's going to bounce in ZB or if it's going to go a little bit through it. I might pull this if I see something fishy. Or I might just take like the one tick. Yeah, let's just that was totally not even a fill. Give me a break.
Was hoping it would trade back to the val.
It is struggling here. You gotta be kidding me, right?
Below said, what's the VWAP VID you mentioned, Seth?
Oh,
Missed that.
when we went down, and I took a short at 22, and then it didn't tick down quite the way that I wanted it to. So I said, okay, I need to just break even on this one and wait and see if it does a VWAP bounce. So I put my order up at 24 way back a long time ago. And at the moment, it looks like it's playing out, although the fill that I got there was total bullshit. So I wouldn't, if this was, if I was trading my live account, I would not have gotten filled. No way. Only like 30 contracts went through there and I got filled. Probably because I put it in so long ago. See, I think what happens is that the simulator assumes that every time that, this goes down, like if it goes from 33 to 32, okay, it says, oh, that was one contract in front of you that went off. And if it's doing that 3,000 times all while it's down here, then the simulator thinks at that point that you're first in line when you most likely aren't. It's probably the same robot putting it on and off at the end of the queue. Are seeing some signs that it's gonna pivot here, though. I am liking what I see. I would have preferred a touch of 14 in ZB.
Below said you suggested a VWAP video to watch.
Oh yeah, so if you go on my channel, I posted a video yesterday entitled "What is a VWAP?" for those people that aren't familiar with it. For you guys in the bonds channel, I'm sure you're already pretty familiar with my views on it, because I mostly talk about how I only buy above and sell below and that sort of thing.
Below said nice, we'll check that out. THX.
Yep. Now, by the way, how are we doing over here? Where is Bitcoin going? Help. I think that some of the exchanges are doing something different, yeah? Because the futures still say that we're heading towards the VWAP. And okay, here in Bitfinex we came off a little bit, but nothing too concerning. Data mish, no change. If I was short-term trading Bitcoin, I would probably be taking it long on the expectation that it gets up to 10.7. If I was long, I would be waiting. If I was had no position, I would maybe scale in a little bit here, but only a little bit, because there is still enough of a chance that we go lower that it would be worth it to not put all your money in right now. That's just me. I'm not, saying what you should or shouldn't do. But I do think that we're going to move up to 10.7 in the futures in Bitcoin.
Below said L at 27.
Okay, now we would have been filled. Okay, so they probably are going to touch the VWAP. They might even touch one past it.
ZN out +4. Below said +3 UB.
Did you take the fade? Yeah, that was a good one too. We saw that one at 220.
Said nice below. I'm long from 26. Going to try to hold this one. Below said looks good.
Longer term chart is interesting. This one, it looks pretty good for maybe you can come up here and back to the scene of the crime and then go lower. But in ZN, it's kind of uncertain. Maybe a Head and Shoulders failed or something like that. I'm a little skeptical though, so I do see a couple of you guys went long, and that's good that you caught the pullback, but the cumulative delta is not saying that this was a fee reversal. Because if it was, the cumulative delta would have come all the way back. We would be up here in the bond. We would be up here in the note, and especially the 5-year, we would be back, and we're not, which indicates that we could bounce.
Below said nice entry Keith. Keith said come on V, don't fail me, smiling face with open mouth.
Okay, so this was a really poor entry. Yep. Well, that move back was just as strong as the move down. The VWAP actually didn't move that much. Finally moved in the bond.
Below said I left the party too soon, balloon. Heath said LOL. Fran said hoping the algos keep pushing it up.
Why are you using a 4-tick stop loss? It's just based on average ranges. Basically. So I know that if it goes 4 ticks against me, that I was definitely wrong. So I have a historical chart that says that 4 is
Heath said we
reasonable.
retraced that entire breakdown.
Block by.
Yeah. Well, this is now it's pivoted today multiple times. I don't know if our strategy would be this is very good for this kind of action.
Below said nice early spot of the flying V. Keith. Heath said I'm just talking price.
Yeah, just price.
Heath said thanks below.
Yeah, I have a bird and it's really loud. He's a sun conure, and sun conures squawk loud. Yeah, so there's the pivot, right? We would want another tick down to confirm it, but so far today the pivots have been holding. It goes the other way. And ZB definitely it came well short of the VWAP. Yeah, there he is. And the kids are all getting ready for lunch, so he's really chatty in the morning, saying hello to everybody. That's a happy sound that he's making.
Heath said took one off at 2000. Made up for those 2 losers earlier.
Good deal.
Fran said me too. Fran said scalps were lousy this morning.
Well, I have no clue what it's going to do next. Now, it was all of that. Yeah. There was the move lower. And
IQ said
move higher pushed us
I.imager.com.
down, and then we started moving lower and it pushed us up.
Heath said yeah. I was fading when I shouldn't have. Trying to fade volatile moves like that with tight stops is not very smart. Below said tried along at 0.1. -2. Heath said below did it tick you and go? Below said did indeed. Heath said expressionless face hate when that happens. Below said womp womp. Fran said yeah ES stalling a bit at S3. Fran said, but today they seem to be inverse.
Hmm.
IQ said ZB back to open.
Yeah, now we find out if this is actually a thing. Yep. Okay. Oh, children. Well, the E-mini does look like it's recovering. And that definitely looks like a reversal in ZB. Gosh dang. There we go. This is the last trade.
IQ said they're the 16T reversal ZB. I'm gonna get an iceberg here at 25, huh? ZF fell pretty hard there too. Yeah, now in Bitcoin, that drop is a little odd. And that was a new one. So people were saying, oh, it took a new low. So maybe it just happened on other exchanges first. Although I've been unable to find it. Here it is on Bitfinex. Took another measure move down and is now recovering. And I think that should definitely break up our chart here. Okay. So it's about where the last push down was. So I can't read too much into it yet as to whether it's going to go lower or higher from here. Okay, that was a good clear right there at 25. The note. Did we see something change in data mesh? Whoa, some longs just puked. You see that? It doesn't take much, does it?
Hmm. Bitcoin Cash is going up. That's not what I'm seeing. It's not getting hit. Didn't get hit as hard as Bitcoin though. I always kind of forget that I don't actually own Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum. On a 5-minute chart, so did it? Yeah, it kind of took a dive too. It's like they come wake up and they intentionally are as loud as they can be. And it's always like they must take turns. Because yesterday was the youngest. And today it's the middle child. So tomorrow it should be the oldest that should be causing all the noise, right? And he's the loudest because he screams at the top of his lungs. Yeah, compared to Bitcoin. So you're saying that Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin trading pair is going up. Yeah, that's probably likely. Okay, E-mini is still looking strong. Well, I'm feeling a little better now. I know that was a good measured drop in Bitcoin and everything, but I still think that they need to come back to the view up. The futures, this is the weird thing, is that the futures are not quite, I don't know, they're not following the price. They're not following the cash prices exactly at all. What the hell is going on? I mean, I don't know what caused that dip. Wow. The owner of BitGrill has just scammed its users out of millions of dollars, causing the price of XRB to fall over 50%. Oh, yay. Hey, maybe we could get back into Rye blocks. Huh? I'm liking that. Oh, maybe we'll pick up some Rye blocks on our next round of investments. Oh my. Either you die a programmer or live long enough to become a scammer. Wow. But could that really be the driver? I don't know. Robin, you had Q swells to over 1 million. Come on. A little intense here, wondering if I'm gonna get filled at 24. Concerned that the offer might pop up on top of it all of a sudden and fill me when I don't actually want to get filled. Also afraid that it's gonna pivot here and I'm gonna miss my opportunity to take 2 ticks. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we took 2 ticks, that's good. I'm happy with that. That worked out. It sucks though because that move down, that was our trade. And I was slow on the draw again. You have 30 cents in XRB? Oh no. Oh man. Hi Marius. Have we seen you in here before? I mean, that name sounds kind of familiar, but I'm not sure if I've seen you before or not. Okay. Well, I'm thinking I can get filled here. I want to go short again. What? Let's look at the coin market cap. Oh, there you go. Okay, so Ryblox has dropped all the way down to 23. It is now worth $13.98. Well, it would have to go a lot lower than that to make me want to go along. So who is this big grill guy though? What does what connection to Ryblocks is it? I wonder. Who are the biggest losers? Yeah, Ryblocks is definitely the biggest. And Dentcoin. Good. Dentcoin drives me nuts. And Verge. Oh man, Verge is just getting creamed. I'm not quite sure what's going on in Verge because when you look at our chart in Verge, they're basically saying that we're flat. It's flatlined. I don't know if that's a problem with the data or what, but I need to investigate what's going on with Verge a bit more. Or it could just be that there's too many people mining it. Thing is, we're still 10 times from 6 weeks ago, and a lot of people forget that. You see. Good deal. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it when it ticks down and you see that too. Oop, and they hit it and they absorb it all. Oh yeah. Every time I go back to that to the YouTube chat and the first thing I see is Rackley, I'm ruined, and I'm like, oh no, and then I'm like, oh yeah, he was just joking. Oh yeah, Dentacoin. Yeah, Dentacoin is like, why do you need a cryptocurrency for dental work? It makes no sense. It's dumb. Why don't you just use Bitcoin? It's stupid. And this thing has huge swings. Like huge swings. It's always at the top and bottom of winners and losers. And it's dumb. It makes no sense. Oh man. Should have taken it off. We had what, 3 ticks in our favor there? Well, the volume still kind of looks down, but that was a pretty big comeback. 4 ticks there, awfully quick. You see that? And the bond is kind of messing with us. It's just ranging all over the place. Oh, Dent is a mobile data coin. It's not the same thing. Okay. No, I'm talking about the DentaCoin. The one for dental work. Much better. Yep, okay. Hmm. Let's check up on Bitcoin here. Okay, well, that chart in Bitcoin Cash sure doesn't look good. What about Ethereum? Nope. Bitcoin. Kind of the same thing. Although there was, I mean, there's volume on these down candles. We'll have to see. I think worst case scenario is we get held up at 10. But the issue is that sets us up again for a real test of the lows and a push to like 8 or 9. Who would call me? Oh, it's my wife. Hold on a second. All right, back. So, I don't know. So we are a tick higher. Well, the E-mini is taking another move down. That must be my Garlium. Yep. Hey, we got a chain confirmation. Oh, so we actually got 3 garlic coins last night. 3. I'm really mad that I didn't get a second video card earlier, because I could have like 120, 150 garlic coins. And now because I got it later, you know, when I get the double the power, the hash rate is going to make it so that I'm basically just getting the same amount of garlic coins I was before. Oh, sorry about that. I need to get a pop filter. Okay, well, that is a little bit more positive, more bouncy action coming out of Bitcoin there. So that's nice. Futures still not moving the needle. I don't know. Well, ZN is like at its lows of the day in cumulative delta, and it's moving like it's going to try and push the highs. You'll see what happens at this 26.5. They bust through that. I bet there's going to be a bunch of stops there. Very curious indeed. Okay. Already struggling here at 25.5. And my wife is lost. She'll figure it out. I think that call might have been an accident. Well, that last move up was a little pathetic, right? Verge. The Verge currency is the most interesting one. Have I shown you guys this chart lately? Look at that. Oh, I think there's my cell. Yep. Good deal. Anyways, I don't know if that means that there's something wrong with my data. Perhaps. Perhaps when they moved over to the Wraith protocol, now a lot of my transaction value isn't showing up anymore, and that's why it's gone flatlined. It just looks ridiculously undervalued here. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a very, very long time before Verge takes another step higher, if it ever does. Good take. And there's a break in the 5-year. We need to get below 223 in the 10-year. Same with the 30. Since it's ticking all around here, I think I'm gonna see if I can get back, make a couple extra ticks here. This has been an idea that I've had for a while, and I've started doing it more and more, and it's been working out, so. Nope.
Alligator said agree, looks like S2 won't hold it down, last
There it
rejection
broke.
they're too weak, so a recovery is more probable now, so short for bonds.
Yeah. We'll leave that other one up there, just in case. It seems like there's a lot more support here at 23, 22.5 than there should be. The E-mini is pivoting here again, even though it still looks strong to me. Hmm. Cool. Well, nobody wants to buy 24. Not yet, at least. Now the 23.5 is starting to put some pressure on. Nope. Seems like a lot of what's being offered there at 24 is not real. A little too low of a probability here. It's just random. You see the level 2 going back and forth, trading sides randomly. Okay, now the offer firmed up a little bit. They're gonna flip it again, or the buyer's just gonna give up. Hmm. I mean, the volume looks like we should be making some push down below the VWAP now, and it's just sitting here. Okay. Good deal. The way that it did the average wasn't right because we made a tick there. But we lost a tick here. So if I got out here, that should be break even. Oh, we did get the tick down.
Alligator said, what time for Trump speech?
Yeah. How many times has that been in this now? Good chance that it's going to break out here in the next 1 or 2 pushes.
Alligator said, oh, so I fear we get nothing great before.
Maybe. Okay. So the bond just had a 2-ticker up. I feel like they're kind of using the bond to push things around and get what they want. See that? ZF tick down. Okay. I think I'd still rather be short than long, but we did take a tick down out of the range, but it wasn't enough. See.
Alligator said agree but heard fund managers waiting for Dem comments to see if next bills will pass.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course the Democrats are going to oppose it. It's going to be funny watching Democrats oppose an infrastructure spending bill. But they're going to have a reason, of course. What are your thoughts about this Bitcoin dump? Do you think it will go below 10K or back up to 11 to 12K? I do think in that on the daily basis that we should get back up to 10.5, 10.6. Just because we have a tendency to move back to the VWAP. But the problem is that because of where we're at, there is a possibility they pull the floor out again. And the thing is even though I do see some buying coming into the market in February, I don't see it for another day or two. So it could go lower. Who knows who it is. Here's the thing. What caused this move down? As far as we can tell, it was longs.
Alligator said so go. I guess it could explain some lack of direction.
Some people they'd been buying since yesterday and they let go of them. And shorts had it since 6. So shorts won. Longs puked. So the whole question is how many more longs are there that could be selling? That's the real question. And it's almost impossible at this point to really quantify it completely. Although, my feeling is that most of the weekends have already been washed out. Well, not the whales. I'm just talking people, just the market in general. It could be lots of small investors. It could be a couple of whales. But there was a group of investors that were long that sold today. Now, why they did that, I don't know. I saw one story saying that a lot of people take profits in January in Asia because of the Chinese New Year, and they use that money to go and buy gifts and so forth, and that's why we tend to go down during that time. Indicator still says that we shouldn't be able to go much below 8. So I don't know what the next step is going to be. I just know that there's not very good probability of it going below 8. And that there is a good probability that at least today that we get back to the VWAP. And if we really do recover here, yeah, they look like they're taking a peak. But if let's say that this stops here and we start going up, I think that would actually end up making this longer term chart end up looking really bullish. I mean, yeah, we did break the trend line, but then you get like a false breakout, I guess I'm just kind of going through different scenarios to kind of say like, yeah, it's bad, but we still don't know what the next step is going to be. And there are some scenarios where this is actually really good. So like let's try and draw them. We'll do it in here. Okay, here's our chart. Okay. So what are we going to do? We're going to do like a paintbrush and let's make it white. Okay. So one scenario is, and let's like zoom in here. So one scenario is this is a false breakout, right? Another scenario is how would this work out? We would probably get something like this. It would recover and then push and make a new low somewhere to 8. Yeah. And then I think there's a scenario where we bounce a little bit and go like that. So it depends like what the way that I would play it would depend on which time view that we're looking at. So for me, I'm, maybe making an investment once a month. Okay. So for me, it's just kind of like wait, because I don't know which one it's going to do. If it goes lower, I could buy some more at cheaper prices and that would be good. If it goes higher, then I kind of get an idea of which currencies went up and which currencies didn't. And so it will give me more information on which set of currencies I want to put my next $100 into. Does that make sense? So, yeah, it was bad, but I wouldn't be panicking or anything. I would just be watching it to see what it does next. Unless you're like really long and you're already underwater, but at that point, I would have to say that you should have been getting out a long time ago. And I can't really tell you what to do at that point because you're just kind of screwed either way, right? Well, it does kind of feel like maybe they've just found some balance here. Hello again, Social Observer. Welcome back. Yeah. Has not been a good set of weeks for us recently. See this? I'll show you my stats here. So we had one day that was really bad. That day shouldn't have happened. And then these days are just kind of, it happens. We've had it before, but it's a little discouraging, but hopefully, we tend to do better at the beginning of the month. So hopefully February would be good. Yeah, well, so Reckley says I would not get out if you still haven't at this point. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends. Okay, like if you were really stupid and you invested money that you really can't afford to lose and, whatever, then you should have gotten out a long time ago and you need to just get the pain over with, right? But At this moment, the risk reward says you should stay in. So, because we've listed out the scenarios and we don't have any probability. Let's go back to this again. Okay. All right, here's our chart. Okay. So if we're here, okay, we could lose essentially $2,000 by going down to 8. Okay. But if we win, we're going to make about $5,000. Okay. So, and that's just like the next step. And then from there, you could just let it run and we could make $10,000 and maybe even $20,000 if it doubles. So even though we really have no percentage, I don't have a percentage probability. So at this point, you have to say if we go long or short, it's 50-50 because we don't really know historically what the probability is. Let's just say it's 50-50. The risk reward would dictate that it's okay to take a long here. But I wouldn't be doing it until the short momentum has disappeared, right? Don't try and catch a falling knife, let it land on the ground and then pick it up. Yeah. So we're just going to wait. If it goes down to 8K, hopefully you have some money in your account to buy it there after it stops. Looks like the psychology chart. Oh yeah, are you talking about the well, so here let me show you my larger term view, because I don't think, if you're talking about the bubble chart, is that what you're talking about? And I don't agree with you, and I'll just show you why. No, you know what? Let's do it like big. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take a picture of it. I'm gonna put it into Paint so we can draw better pictures. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And a brush, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. White. Okay. So what they're saying is that the psychology chart is, okay, here's the high, the bubble pops, and then there is a, we say, like a recovery of some sort. Oh, you know, it's all over, it's done, and then it comes back down. The reason I say that that's not what's happening is because when we look at my chart, okay, so here is the Mt. Gox crash, and here we say here was the top, and then we came down. There was a little bit of a buy there, but then it came back down, and then here was the failure to make a new high, disappointment, collapse. Okay. When we look at Bitcoin right now, did we have a pump? Did we have a move up? We did not. So I say it still needs to happen. So this is what I think is going to happen. Oops, do we need to like zoom out a little bit? Okay. It's going to come up to here, and then it's going to come up and it's going to make a new high here, and then it's going to fail, come down here, fail. And at that point, we should have enough momentum to really get going low, right? That's what I think is going to happen. Or like, that's my scenario 1. Scenario 2 is it's going to do this, but it's going to make a new high. And we'll come back down, and it could, you know, could just keep going. I think this scenario is less likely, just because by the time we get back up to the top, I would say that this indicator would be signaling again. So I don't think that that's going to happen. Okay, scenario 2 is the dip lower and then this, right? And the last scenario, which I believe is, according to my indicator at least, is really unlikely, is this. Yeah. Why does the indicator look to fall off a bit after Mount Gox? So you can see what happens is this is how overbought and oversold we are. So when we get to 150, that's like, look out, guys, right? It comes all the way back down. Basically, when you have a crash, it goes back to 50, generally speaking. Okay, here we had a little bit of a pump, but they didn't get too far ahead of themselves, and we took a step lower, and then we had the recovery, quote unquote. Here's the recovery. We get over a 150 again. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's how I view that area right there. So I want to see this do the same thing. I want to see a little move up, and then, oh, it didn't. It made that new low, and then really, this is where I'm looking for. I'm looking to catch this. That's what I want. Okay, well, I have to get going. Totally lost track of the time, and it doesn't look like bonds are going to go anywhere. So we did lose 3 ticks. I took way too many trades, but you know, like how many? Look, these all had like 2, 3 favorable, and I only took 1 on them. So it was still really rangy today. We missed this one right here, 220. It did go down to like what, 210. Anyways, so was really more missed opportunities more than anything. And then this was a bad trade. That was a mistake because I very rarely put something in and then just wait for it to go into it. I should have waited for it to come out, see if it was actually going to bounce off the VWAP, waited for an order flow indicator, and then get in. So that was bad. All right, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow, or you know, in chat if you are there today. And yeah.